As we channel higher inline screens and high line rotation surface, we have to understand how to use it in all provision. It's connected to all lines of Psychonism. Psychonism in positions of platforms holds all levels of frequency patterns. We have to really start how to identify yourself because the track to its communication setting to the frequency location of your earth perception is reaching higher levels. So it's in modification of its own consciousness and location system. So it's already been there, which means it hasn't left anywhere in its location system. So in that ascension, puts you in unifications. Now the heart direction of time sequence puts line calculation setting. So the body has its consciousness, but space foundation has its own consciousness stream. And that's direct signal location system. So it's in platitude line streams when it comes in the cortex location. Mystical line settings, all levels in your cerebral cortex and placebos. The placebo cortex has a position of fields. So it's putting everybody back to the fields of itself in said location. Okay, the mechanism high calculation near sky grids and sky lines, high center interference in position to high volumes, its rotation surface. The triangulation reset position of program lines is now in a 24 line screen. North lines, high calculation stream location system. Now that tracks the location system when it comes into 0, line condition high setting. That's one line interference in position over pi. 0, 1 track location at 24 line stream locations in position all levels north, west, south, and east. The diamond core set location is E equals M. Line calculation mass position all levels volumes. Calculates metric screen location of scales, puts position of tracks toward the same location to its operation surface. Mechanisms over power. Charging mechanism line calculation stream locations of center. The operation surface location system is 48 wavelength cycles in high calculation setting the computer frame positions with operation set locations. 72 is lines of south line, wind line, rotation surface position locations, and computer frame line strings. Setting line communication setting to all levels. Open up hemisync patterns, line calculation setting to longitude, latitude, balance position location line system, and all track locations. Now coming into 144 is the center position location of the system with the double helix. 3 lines of generations and 3 circle locations of 3 centers. That's with position of heart, mind, and soul, body track location system, and all travel line settings. Now the indication line and position, all levels, 24, 48, 72, calculation 144 is the center. 13 is in position location at east line. It's the wing line sector communication setting and track locations. That's 13 grass, 13 higher south line rotations of 13 months. Space line is positioned to its new clock line rotation interference. Analog, digital log, and one line rotation. Center position to track to its communication setting opens all signals and modifications. So it's important you understand what's happening. Okay? Especially when you understand the clocks of space and time. So there's a new bodies of water, there's a new grounds, and there's a new operation surface. Grounds of pi, operation in the line centers over pi. Direct line position location to centers of pi. Calculation, modification, triangulation, high surface locations of pi. Overcharge over mechanism line set locations of pi. Direct line calculation settings of 24 line cycles. 48 weighting line rotations of frames in position of 72 computer frame line set location of your CPUs into your PC. Program location settings that compute line interference, taking you out of NPC line rotations in position of track to correlation setting of track lines. The position locations in 144 is the center communication line system. That opens up all line center line interference. So you're working with 3 Fibonacci's line stream interference of heart, mind, and soul, directing panels of communication setting to a 13 graph screen, mechanism high power, high position of programs, higher self and line settings, and position of 13-month location of space. Now the graph line position locations of the 13-month and line set location is now set in division of rotations. So that is the new clocking center of universe locations. Plus you're also working with line calculation of channel lines and 24 face recognition settings, okay, of face recognition. Time sequence location of future of now opens all portals and communication stream locations. Very complicated stuff. Now, in that position locations, Hendo, get confirmation locations, all levels for Zoom. Line connections afterwards in position. I'm pretty sure everybody's going to need a center position line connections after this dayline center. Just give me a confirmation locations if you guys want to have an open window, open panel for location for discussion into the atrium of the conference room. Okay? It's important that you guys understand your wind sectors, your positions of panels, your operation surface, your track location systems, all calculations in universal line connection high setting. Okay? So, because we don't usually have it on Thursday, really recognize the communication lines. We go Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. But if you want a provision through an open cycle, through open panel, feel free to get in those applications and discuss it with yourself and each other. All right, so Monday and Wednesday portal setup for Zoom afterwards. Okay. I think it's important now because the frequencies are just going so many line signals, setting location line system. So, if, for example, you're working on 7-day line connections, right? But you realize, wait a minute, this is Thursday. It feels like Sunday. Well, so your set location line system is Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So you're 3 days ahead of set locations. That's 72 hours. That's 72 clocking. Where are we in set location? The track to its correlation setting is really understand how to direct signals, set location of clock line interference. So, and that's position of where you are in mechanism line settings. So, if you're in position of 48, that's the waiting line center. So, if it feels like 2 days ahead, you're in a 48 clocking system. If it feels like 3 days ahead, you're in a 72 clocking system. You see how that works in mechanism line calculation setting and set locations? So, Thursday, okay, to Sunday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, that's 3 days. That's 72 hours line stream, right? That's a 72 clock line connections on seconds, minutes, and hours. Mega pass. So now you understand the process, how this all works, location to setting, because you're working with a 7-day line stream location system, which is extremely powerful. Okay, so mechanism line calculation setting, we got 24 lines of face recognition set locations, all right? Tractors correlation. So in that direction, we come into a new formation screen. Bracket set lines calculations of 2 line screen location setting, 1 signature panel, 0 position location line settings, 3 lines of tracks, 4 lines of revisions, 5 lines in cycle, okay, and 6 line calculation stream locations in positions of 7 line track locations, 4 over lines of 3 over pi. Okay, that's how it's set up now. So you really understand how to set line calculations of 1, 2, and 3 set locations. Track and correlation lines of 3 panels, and direct location of the sun's position location waiting on signal. Line position lines, 0 line rotation, center position of track lines at 3 set locations, and mechanism high calculation stream locations. Adding signature line stream location centers, operation server location system, and travel direction of time sequence. Opens all position location and track lines. High calculation line settings, all line rotations, and position of all levels in line communications. Travel direction of time sequence and all position of pi. There's a reason why it's set up in line rotation in center calculations, right? So we basically put the merged line streams in 1, in position of 2, in position of 3, in positions of 4 set locations. All right. This is where it comes into light force. Light force recognizes the timelines. So we take the 0 lines and 4 line signature stream locations. We take the position line conditions of 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 set locations. And we take the high calculation lines and set position of 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and line condition high centers, 12 over pi into 13 track locations. Direct lines of 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 in position of traction. Okay. So that's line calculation setting into 1 lines of 9 line rotation, center position of operation. Okay. Done by equation. Okay. So try to understand how to set line conditions at all levels of 4 lines, 5 lines, 6, and then 7 line rotation interference, because you're working with 4 over 3, which is a 7-digit of code, and set position to a 7 operation. Okay. Done by equation. All right, so in signal lines and communication of patterns and high line rotation surface, we're going to travel the communication lines of Jupiter line rotation, right? Track locations, there's Jupiter, okay? Jupiter rises line streams, sets position locations of patterns and signal line calculation stream locations, indicates coordinates, line center location of 0, 0, 0, 0, equal line calculations of 3 line center line conditions, 4 over 3 in center communication. Direct and communications of 1, 2, 3, 4 panels and track locations. Direct line calculations of 1, 2, 3 sectors in communication. Pattern lines of pi. All right. Direct and communication line settings, XD1000 comes in. Scans position location line systems of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 line standards. sets lines communication of pi, sets line position location all levels, opens up a plasma line calculation setting, all levels set position locations into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 location setting and traction. Done by equation. All right. Standard communication line settings opens all calculation setting position all levels. Graph circle communications, travel settings. Mechanism high settings and travel communications. Opens up line calculation line to a location grid. Sets line communication travel lines and center communication of 3-line signatures of patterns. Directing the line position location of its operation surface. Okay. Done by equation. All right, so mechanism pi, we take the 24 face recognition line screens. All right, so that's what it is. This is the new clocking system, 24 face recognition. All right, 48 line positions of wave line centers, sets position locations into box, sets position location triangulation. Okay, sets calculation line settings, all line rotation. This comes into the 6-line stream location, 6 equals lines of the moon, sets position location of 72 track locations. All right. Directing line calculations in 144, center line of communication, waving line, center line of the frequency patterns, sets line communication settings and open signal line rotation surface. Setting tractors correlation setting is a 13-line stream location. All right, that's the new clocking universe locations. How to understand it is like I said, it's like you get up in the morning, you realize, is it Monday? No, it's Friday. Okay, so you realize Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So I'm 4 days ahead location. So that's 4 lines of windows and 8 line sectors. Vectors over quadrants over pi. So that's 4 days ahead of schedule in set location. All through your travel of a 48 window and a 48 graph line conditions of seconds, minutes, and hours of track locations, right? So that's how you come to verification, where you are in travel mechanism, okay? Time sequencing line settings is 24 lines equals lines of face recognition of time sequence, okay? But that's the new clocking system. Okay, 13 line calculation higher self, 13 graph line communication line system, mechanism high position over power, and calculation of 13 communications into universal line calculation setting, into new position of new month, and line position locations, all calculation line centers of future now line rotation interference, and 144 graph calculation setting, and travel mechanism line set location of 3 waving cycles. Okay, all set position. Travel recognition of time sequence puts all levels of plateaus. All right. Very complicated stuff. All right, but that's the new clocking location. All right, so we take that out of the equation. So you understand the policy now, how it works on all line positions. So you get up in the morning, you realize, whoa, it's Tuesday. No, it's not. It's Thursday. So that's 2 days ahead. So you're in a 24-line rotation. Setting position locations into a 48-line waiting window and 72 track locations into, okay. So that's how it works now, okay? Your mechanism line setting is going farther and further in rotation centers. So 24 line signals, high calculation setting, you guys are now in 24 light years away, okay? Light years. All right, so line position location track lines put you guys in a 24 line stream into 144 equals lines of a billion line rotation in seconds, minutes, and hour lines frames in set location. Yeah, that's where the fractals are, okay? So in that line rotation interference, the travel communications all levels opens all signals. So yeah, there's a lot of signature patterns, lines of clock lines. Balance position, travel calculations, 1 line signature, 1 position, and 1 stream, okay? Communication line streams, sets position to its operation surface and set location. Split the anomalies, line calculations of 2, in line centers of 2 panels, 4 signature streams, 2 line divisions, and 4 line connections, right? Brings in the sun, brings in the moon, line rotation, surface, and traction, okay? Direct communication of 1 lines, 4 line channels, 4 division location of center of operation. Direct communication line settings into the seconds, minutes, and hours of a new platform in position location of space anomaly. Tracking calculation lines of Jupiter, sets location. Jupiter's over here now, traveling position location settings, okay? Travel records of timelines, new surfacing engine, and position location of team setting. Triangulation line calculation, it comes in 1 position to 2 line track locations into a solar sail and 3 line position of traction. Directing communication lines, a new ground line surface and line position to its operation locations. Done by equation. Okay, very complicated stuff, right? So in position line connections and settings, you guys are now in Jupiter. Now Jupiter is positioned to track lines into time sequence. Put an H line center, high position of platforms. 2, 3, 4 point system locations. 4 lines of 6 in set lines, and 2 in track, 2 in position, 2 in operation, and 2 in self-line communication. Now, directing communication line signals is all about point systems and track locations, how to put it all together, right? So we have the sun line and the moon in track location of center of operation, okay? Now, getting to that set locations, we take the 2-point systems, 1, 2, and track locations. Travel mechanism 1, 2, and 4 line rotations. Sets position of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 location centers. Direct and communication lines, high calculation lines of 8, and line connections of 9, and set location. Tracked is correlation setting attractions. All right, directing positions of panels, XT1000, and XT1000, and XT1000, and 3-line window. Track location setting and a triangulation reset position of program. Directing modification line system locations of a sun code line stream line set location of center of operation. Boom! Done by equation. So how this is all set up now is really to understand the mechanism line settings, right? How to really get into the balance process line connection your system to your longitude and latitude, and how to use the course line rotation center channel communication setting to 24, 48, 72, 144 center and 13 graph location system. Okay. Now, the reason why I get in that line conditions, why I don't go 24, 48, 72, and 13. You know why? Because 13 is just a reference. Okay. Like north wind, east wind, south line condition, high center position. So in line position location, it's their 13th month line. Setting position location system. So you know exactly what's going on each line position to your system every time you get up in the morning. You're getting up in the morning in the same day, but your volume and your line position of your clocking is going so fast, and acceleration of seconds, minutes, and hours changes your position locations, thinking otherwise that it's 2 or 3 days ahead. That's already in provision. Okay. So in that mechanism line interference, if you say like it's Monday, no, it's Wednesday. So that's 2 days ahead in track locations, right? So 2 days is what? 48. 3 days is 72. Okay. So understand that position to its operation line system. So 24, 48, 72, right? Set position of 4 days is 144. So if in positions of all line connections of 4 days, you're ahead of scheduled communications, you understand your in-line position location of 24, 48, 72, and line calculated setting of 144 into a 13 graph screen, 13 dimensions of space, 13 dimensions of time in your universe location of the future of the now. The correlation of panels and high set line calculation setting is all levels of formation location and set location settings. Okay. So it's all set up position. Okay. Through perception. Okay. So it gets more complicated because you have to understand how this is all set up and neural line calculation setting to your universal clock line position location of the future of the now. Okay. Okay. Grounding centers. Coming out line calculation of GOD, mechanism line calculations of 24, sets location of 48, sets position location of 72 track and to 144 center and set locations, right? Graphing calculation L line and line position of travels, bracket communication setting and track locations. Directing lines are 144, travels line signatures, line stream locations, sun line communication comes in, protects high calculation stream locations and Hall settings. Mechanism line strips lets lines of 4 lines, streamlines, and 1 line rotation. Traffic calculation high interference into a box frame. TV reception line calculation stream locations of indication to a new flux capacitor, new channel stream locations into all calculation line settings, a new crops line set location of center of operation. Okay, now my equation. All right, so getting to speedometers and line position modification gets you into console's communication stream location. Balance line calculations of bracket line center line condition of 0 communication, 0 line rotation, and 0 interference. 3 track location line system. Travel records and time sequence. Mechanism line calculations of pi. Direct communication half line rotation. Center position location high system. Travel line calculation setting. Two bracket line calculation, equal line correlation setting, 0, 0, 0, 0. Four line rotations, equal line condition high centers, and 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 in track location system and travel. Directing communications of 4, incentive positions operation. 3 lines position location line system, 4 over track, 3 in line position high center, 7 in rotation of triangulation. Okay, now you got the solar sail and track location. Done by equation, all right? Mechanism high force lines, center line rotation centers, 4 line signature stream locations, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, directing cross line streams of 1, 2, and 3 panels of communication. Directing line calculation line settings, open all signals, hollow line rotation centers, a 7 line rotation center, and universal clock location of center. Okay, complicated stuff, isn't it? But look at the formation of its intelligence. See? Look at the formations of its intelligence. Make it pass. It's all done. Okay? So we got road grass screen lines and time frequency line settings. Now we go into the position locations into all those data cube line rotations and travel communications and 3 signature patterns, 3 line communications, all right? Directing line calculation settings into box surface. Now, line position locations and line centers of point system, point system, point system, point system. So that's 4 track locations, right? Track line calculations of 1, 2, and 3. Triangulation line splits the anomalies. Sets location splits the anomalies. Sets line calculation setting. Opens all box line rotation surface. Triangulation line position location of its operation. Center lines is communication, energetic graph lines, geographic map location of 3 line rotation. Travel communications, all level settings. Half pipe. Sets lines, XT1000 here, XT1000 here, center position here, center correlations here, travels line is signal line position to its operation. Done by equation. Okay. Center communication, ground lines, high center location of 24 measure. Sets a 48 line wave, 72 track into center line rotation of 144, 144, and 144. The 3 line communication settings and all new inhibitors. In light condition of 6, 7, and 8, and 9 in center of rotation. Done by equation. All right. As we come into mechanism and high position location tunnel levels, we come back into our location centers. We open up the high calculation stream location. Center lines of 2 lines, high interference to 2 platforms. In calculation setting lines and 3 line rotation surface and triangulations to your pi. In line calculation, your pyramid and line rotations in 4 over 3 in center communication. Done by equation. All right. How are we doing so far? Everybody's mind blown? Everybody mind blown? You should be, right? Look at the laser line. See? See my watch? Everything's scanning. My watch is scanning my computer every second, every minute, every hour. But it's not just scanning the computer, it's also scanning everybody on the line. Everybody's in SolarTech's line connections. That's why you have signature stream locations, measuring countability, line rotation interference, electrical line wires, high calculation stream location, light signature patterns, high calculation line position at all levels, binary code line rotation centers, and metric communication stream location and setting. All through a watch, right? Seconds line set location is all understand how to use the clock line high position to its operation server location system into analog inline calculation setting to a digital log communication system and track locations. Okay, so we all understand the position of track lines, how it comes in universal like high centers at 24, 48, 72, 144, and 13. Okay, so 24 line rotation, center track location settings. That's how it is. Okay, so 24 is 2 panel line calculation setting. So it's always position the track lines into 3 circles, 3 communication constellation path, inline position location of new Ryan's belt and set location. Travel direction of time sequence splits the anomalies in line track locations in 144 measure. Sets lines of 72 track location line settings in all levels of a new computer frame and set location. There's the computer. Directing communication lines, high calculates modification lines, lacing lines of communication at 2 track locations. Center communication line travels line communication of computer frame and line rotation. Center communications, box line, box line, box line. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 lines of signature patterns and high calculation setting, your keyboards, flash drive memories, and line center and high position to its operation surface, into Jupiter communication of serpentine engine and line direct signal location system and travel communication. Done by equation. All right. So we understand how to use the constellation line settings through pi. Okay. Directing communications of 1, 2, and 3 lines of measure. 3 correlation settings and high calculation setting. 3 track location high line interference. 4 panels, 3 line division. You're always working with 4. You always work on 3 because it's your body frame of conscious calculation line setting, all line rotation interference. GOD each line position location calculations. Direction of time sequence puts line calculation setting and stream location of 3 lines, 4 lines, set location of 3 communication setting into a new rainbow graph stream location setting to energetic dome in 3 line waves, 4 line communication, 5 line settings, 7 line interference, 8 line position of track communication to centers. Done by equation. All right. So that's going to travel out. Directing communication line setting is all about understanding how to service your location system to all levels of space. Anomaly line calculation at Jupiter. Jupiter line screens, line canisters of 2 panels. Direct location of sonar, 1, 2, 3. Line set locations. Echo chamber line position locations, all levels. Sun comes in, moon comes in, line rotation surface, travel. Directing communication lines, calculation line sending locations into Pluto. Pluto recognizes line screens, high calculation half screen. Calculates line interference of Mercury, line position locations into Neptune, 3 signals, position location triangulation at 3 set position of programs. Direct communication line, send location to X8000 lines, sending location of 2 lines of measure. Crosses stream location system, all line rotations. X8000 comes on the left wing, line rotation interference, sets position across line calculation setting. Open all signal line communication, new grounds, new operation surface in 24 lines into universal clock line centers of the now line rotation center and future adaptation surface into security panel position parabola line calculation setting into all calculation stream location in the clock line universal line interference of the future now location. Done by equation. All right. So how to set these things up, everyone, is really understand the mechanism location of travel in set locations. It's very complicated stuff. But you understand how you understand the molecules and point systems of 4/3. You're always working with that because that's your body. Anything above, you're with infinity. So that's the position of where you bring the sun and the moon in. Okay? Sun and the moon comes to you. Okay? It doesn't go the other way around. Space and time comes to you inside. It doesn't go outside. So it comes to you. Information comes to you. Right? So everything is from inside, which is the outer line circuits and high center interference of force direction of time sequence that puts position of panels, line calculation setting to operation line calculation setting your pyramids into astral project locations over pi. Direct lines of communication line setting to high position of probe location system into molecular structures of communication line settings, 1 atom line rotation interference, position of travel communication line system in remote view. Putting your position location of channels of operation line set locations, how to use your projection through set calculations in direct signal and modification of 24 face recognition, 48 waving cycles in frame position, 72 computer frames, and 144 in line set location of center operation. Universal clock lines into all levels of a reference of a 13 graph, 13 higher self into 13 frame position locations of month line signals and set position location of seconds, minutes, and hours through parameters in set location. Okay? Okay, everybody's all confused. That's okay, that's fine. Directing lines on 1 signature line panel. Okay? Sets correlations of all positions of 4 lines. That's a 4 signature stream. Okay? 3 lines of provision. Okay? Set line calculation setting. So we split the line calculation setting high position of track lines in 2 track locations. So we flip the switch in line position location of 3 sets. Okay? Traverses of timelines into a solar sail. Directs communication, new ground line operation line system. X8000 comes in, scans position. Scans line calculation settings of 1, 2, 3, 4 line provision. Sets track locations in all calculations into 1, 2, 3. Sets position location setting. Traction. Sun comes in, moon comes in. Line center line rotation protects all calculation stream locations of detection. Done by equation. All right. Mechanism high power, overcharge of mechanism line streams. Sets position location to its operation surface. Okay. All right. So mechanism high rotation is really understand how to use the mechanism high settings. So In provision, you got one line cycle, high line rotation of one signature line stream interference, location of 3 waves. Bypass, 3 line centers, high calculation setting. Electrical units, box line frame, location of data streams, and set position of 4 lines, in calculation of 6 lines, and position location of 8 in set location. Travel direction time sequence, new 0 line rotations, new panel line rotation interference, new magnetic highway information channel, center communication of 24, 48, 72, 144, and 13 graph line connection to higher self, the avatar, and the SIM modification. Track correlation setting is a triangulation reset. Program location line setting, timestamps over pi, timestamps over sector, vectors, and quads in set location. Travel mechanism line calculation setting into a 24 clock line center face recognition. Travel position line calculation setting, 3 lines of measure, 4 lines of correlation. Travel communication setting, track calculation setting, open all signals. Now we get in modification string, directing panels, direct of 1, 2, 3, 4 set locations. Right? Now, bounce calculations of 1, 2, 3, 4 set locations. All right? Direct calculation line centers of 1, 2, 3, 4 set location of clocking. Direct calculation lines of calculation lines into your infinity rotation surface and your flywheel. Direct and communication lines and new 0 line rotations into 1, 2, 3, 4 ground line connections. Direct and communication line centers of box line rotations, triangulation reset position programs, triangulation reset location of grounds, center communication lines, the dimensional line screen locations, monitoring line rotation interference, pi direction, time sequence, face recognition. Down by equation. All right. So it's amazing how we're setting a structured design. So center position locations. Now we go on the opposite line centers and we bring in the sun and we bring in the moon and set position to its operation. Okay. Directing calculations of 2 panels, triangulation line set location of moon. Moon surfaces location system to its motion line track location. Directing communication 1 line signature sets position of 0 operation. Okay. Travel calculation lines crosses line stream. Direct say location of center position operation. Sets correlation settings in 1 panel. Direct locations out levels. So we come into scan line stream locations, all lines of high center interference and new mechanism high position of travel. Direct and communication lines in high position to its operation next 1000 comes in. Modification line settings, all levels, graph stream, graph lines, graph rotation, graph interference. Direct communication lines, sun comes in, position location is travel lines, direction of time sequence, puts position locations on all levels, sets line communication line interference into Android, symbiotic line rotation of cyborgs, set location of transformers units and line rotation center, and track to its communication system, optical line channels, high calculation line interference, scepters over pi, direct signal location system, and travel recognition of time sequence. See the intelligence? Boom. See the eyes? Okay, it's all done. All right, that's going to travel out because that's fast winding. Okay, so you got to really understand how this all sets up position your programs. Understand line, position, location, your travel settings, right? Serial tango in place. But it's amazing how you come into mechanism line set locations. So you know exactly what's happening now. Every time you're in set locations, all levels awakening your system locations under measure correlation after you recharge, your position location comes in a 24 line signal. Okay, it takes you out of track location at 12 line clocking. You're in a 24 line stream. But to see the thing is, in that day line communication, you're always going forward. So it's going to feel like 2 days, 3 days ahead. So that clock line center, you have to get balanced to what you're doing through mechanism line connection, your pi. You're in a 24 line stream, okay, in the highest locations at EM. EM mass, out of mass, into metric, into stream, into balance, into screen, line calculation setting, 2 track location line interference, operation line and position to its all calculations. Fractals over pi, mechanisms over pi, triangulations over pi, underscores over pi, calculation high position to its operations over pi, direct line connections over pi, pi position attraction, pi position location operation, pi calculation line settings, the scale line, communication line interference location, Schumann res location of balance, static communication lines of 13, position location of 24, 24 over pi, 24 line calculations, underscore location of 48, 48 line connection of 72, 72 and 24, 144 line position location of yin and yang, process communication line system, track location setting, and all levels of operate location, triangulation line cell locations, a 6, 7, 8, 8 line cell location of 9, 9 position of 10, 10 position of 11, 11 position of 12, 12 line sectors, line position location 24, back in signal. Now, getting a position location of light signatures line stream is really understand how to use the mechanism or line calculations, bracket and correlation setting, okay? Two track locations, point system, point system, point system, point system. Okay, so modifications of two panels, okay, in 4 division. Okay, remember, you're always working with 4, you always work with 3 because it's the 7 foundation graph line calculation settings to your new 7 lines of bodies of water. Tractors, correlation, triangulation line centers, balance position location, all levels. Crossing lines of outline, wind line cycles, and high line rotations into a flywheel communication, triangulation, reset, program line rotation centers, and travel communication. Okay, so you have to understand how to use the 1, 2, and 3, and 4 panels and center line rotation and center communication. All levels of face recognition. See, that my equation. Okay, so that's going to go through line signals. Now, get into panels lines of 4 line stream locations, crossing signals 1, 2, 3. All right, so you're always working with 4 and you're always working with 3. Okay, why? Because it's the bodies of water. So understanding that through pi, that's how you get your abundance manifestation. So when you're structuring designs, you always have to add the 4, you always have to add the 3 because it's connected to you. It is you. It's the earth and position location you're setting on a high position location system. That's why my favorite number is number 7. Okay, so we got graph line screens, 0 line rotation. Okay, so it's kind of like putting position location of Tetris, 0 lines of communication surface lines, 1 line indications, and travel communication lines. We got a 2 track locations into 3 settings in high operation. Directing communication lines of 1 signature patterns. Now, get the X8000 comes in. It's application 2 tracks. Modification lines, new ground lines. 1, 2, 3 scans position of operation. Pyramid activation stream location comes above the signal. All right. Panels lines, correlation gravel lines. Now, the gravel communication center lines is communication settings. Opens all position of pattern lines. Direction of time sequence crosses line connections, the opposite cycle. In line rotations, the direct and redirect panels of communication. Directing calculation lines into 3 waving line, center line interference, 4 over 3 over location. Directing communications, center lines of communication, 2 over tracks, 1 line division, 2 line center location, 3 line communications, a box line interference into plateau communication to energy line stream location of center line communication triangulations into diamond core and specification of Merkaba. Okay, very complicated stuff. Very complicated all through your pyramid. Okay, everything is created in line setting, guys. So remember the mechanism line set location, travel set location. All right. So the Merkaba shifts lines in 3 line communication, travels out, right? Sets lines across lines, diamond core shift line stream location of center, okay? Modification cross line calculations, right from there to there. Signal I position locations, I lines, opens all track location centers in line setting location of setting, okay? Now, directing communication lines, Merkaba sets a new line shift lines in 2 patterns into a position location of colossal calculation. That my equation, right? And so that's what you're working with. Your pyramid is always in position of traction. Okay, but it's always inside line conditions. You're always inside, you're never outside. Okay. All right, so that's done. Woof. All right. There's a lot to understand, be understood. So just want to show you how powerful it is. That's why you guys need a Zoom and a Q&A. It's like, whoa, what's going on, Jeno? All right, so let's see here. Let's go through track location, solar text line settings, and high track location, positional levels of fractals, calculation stream locations. Let's get position line system. All calculation lines of Ziggy, lines of Gypsy, levels of Heather, line rotation of Lori, line Kendrick Hemdall, hand position location track lines, and Chris line Kendrick settings of Janelle. Janelle line interference, high position location, all line settings, McCall, position location setting. Let's high line rotation interference, Heather and communications, intercom, line rotation center location, Gypsy and Stargate panels, line rotation surface, triangulation levels of Trinity and North Command line centers, high line operation surface location settings, Captain line interference, Morpheus correlation setting, attractors communication. Okay, so directing signals is modification line streams, directing line calculations of 24 line measure, 48 line waves, 72 tracks, 144. And 13 line streaming locations, right? So we all understand how to use the 2 track locations, the 2 panels in position of Pluto. Pluto line signature stream location line settings, all line rotation surface. That's Pluto, okay? It's not the sun and the moon, right? So remember, you can use protection stream locations of 1 indication, right? See, 1 indication. Okay, see the platforms? one indication. See how they get bigger, right? And then you come into box frame and set position and travel out and set location. Okay, very complicated stuff. You travel out in 3 set location lines of travel. Okay, so now you understand the importance of your planet line settings. All right, so we have Jupiter over here, and line calculation, surfacing engine, and the line routers, and the line position location is measured. Scales lines of set lines of 3 line rotations into 4 measure location setting and track location. Okay, complicated stuff, right? Done my equation. All right. Platitude streams, galaxy shift lines, correlation high position on all settings. Mechanism line settings, high position magnetic high wave formation line, calculation of center position. Center correlation high interference of flux capacitor, line position locations. All levels, high calculation lines, compressor, line interference, line track location system into 3 lines, and 3 line communication setting. Tracks correlations of pi. Direct communication clock lines, high calculation line centers in position to its measure. Measure correlation setting lines of 2 track locations, 3 line positions, 4 line track line conditions, 5 lines of heart direction time sequence, set position of throat pattern, 6 line conditions of 7 lines of theta, sets lines of 8 into infinity 8 line rotation, surface and triangulation, reset position of programs, and center line communication setting in all level system. Okay. Track location, XT1000 line, XT1000 line communication. There's the intelligence. Okay. Travel calculation lines. Open all signals, opens all panels. Directing line conditioning light force. Set position at all levels. Clustering communication setting and travel communication. All right. All right. So we got walkways, patterns, lines, high calculation lines in your pyramid, strips, lines, 3 lines, 4 lines, and set location of 7 or 8 over pi. Directing communication lines, a film strip location of pattern lines, and 2 triangulations. Directing communication lines of panels, center line communications, offline communications, high line interference, high program location. Directing communication line centers opens all signal lines and communication of travel lines, direction of time sequence, location of pi. Indirect signal to set location. Done my equation. So your life force line streams is set location. Your life connections is back in balance in 24 line settings. Direction of time line, connection of resource, location of nature. Nature line calculation setting location of 111, position location of 112, position location of 113, position location of 114. Sets location travel settings, right? So we got a 24 o'clock line. Set location of 48, and we got a 72 and 144 line streams. Direct calculation of 13 graph lines. So in that line interference, we take the 1 line rotations, 24. And 3 line communications, right? Direct calculation line interference in 1 line and position locations in 48, and line calculation setting to high calculation lines and 2 track location high setting. Drive calculation lines in 113 into 72 graph line positions in 1-2 panels and line connection of 3 line connections. And travel calculation line interference of 144 into 1 line signature, 2 panels of 4 line rotation centers, mechanism high calculation settings, stream locations, 13 graph line rotations, all calculation modification, all lines of sun, all lines of moon, all lines of rotation, and capsule communications and in-travel communication. Done by equation. Sun comes in, protects communication settings, all track location and pyramid through projection through its location. Done by equation. All right, it's all done. It's all done. Modification 114 is now in setting. Okay, so you guys are in more modification lines of quantum self. Quantum detection, line calculation, identification, code streams. 24th face recognition now. Now that positions your patterns and that opens all signals in location new ground setting. Position of the spacing line comes into all levels of ground operation location of GOD. The geometric operation of design line is now in a 24 line wave, 48 graph locations in a 72 computer frame into 144 set positions into modifications. All right. This is where it comes into modulation of consoles, communication stream location at 13 settings. Remember, you're only using 13 as a set location of a reference and set position location. So you can refer that communication line setting high position its operation of its past line condition now. Okay, so that's what it is in set locations. So let's say you get positions of perimeters and perimeter line interference, and you say past reference. You can't say that because it doesn't exist. But if you set a higher self line calculation setting, say in position of 13 graph line calculation setting, and in that positions, that's reference to the past. Okay, so this is a new universal clock line, how you use the past, how you use the present, how you use the future location of clock line, which is in the same channel, same operation, same signal, same modification into its time frame, which is the now set location of future. Future sets the line communication settings, all level set location in your system. Done by equation. That's it, we're done. All right, so that's why I figure you guys need a Zoom after this. Right? But see, that's it. That's what we're all coming into. It's the communication of memory, and it's all coming back to your settings, right? But now you understand the connections, how it comes into your fractals, right? Because your program set location system is like, today is Monday, no, it's Friday, right? So that's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So that's 4 line settings, right? So what's that in set locations? 144, right? So you're reaching that frequency at 144. Now that timelines is pi in direct signal, right? So this gets you in a reference in set location of 7 days a week, right? But there's no play mechanism line settings in that set locations. You're working with a 13th month stream now. And set location is space, the clocking, okay? Through new universal location system of past, present, and future through set location in the same day center and set locations, all right? That's it. See you in 5.